Ever had your heart broken? Girlfriend leave you, anything like that? Okay, when your money goes, it's worse. However bad that felt, oh my gosh, you don't want to lose your money. And I try to prevent that. And trust me, man, I've done it all. I've lost penny stocks. I've lost so much money. It's insane. Until I realized, you know what? You don't need to hit these home runs because the few people who post, oh, I made this money, they never show what they lose. So yeah, they might make 10 grand this month, but they lose 40 grand last month. That don't make any sense. So yeah, there's a lot of information out there. So what we do here, the whole freedom group and all that stuff, is we try to help people to make money sustainably and not lose it, right? So we focus on good quality stocks. People always trying to make $1 million, but they don't understand that you could make a lot of money from good, slow growing stocks. Believe it or not. One of my favorite stocks is B2B, the most boring stock in the world. My son laughed at me. He's like, you have this stock, it hasn't moved in 8 years. And I'm like, exactly, because the points within which it moves, I make a lot of money in those ups and downs. It's predictable. So I know I could make the money regularly. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get everybody to do is to make consistent money out of the stock market. So one way to do that, and the easiest way to do that, is dividends. Dividend investing is probably like the easiest way. You put your money in, you sit back, you get paid. The end, right? So I've learned to build that out, but more importantly, with those dividend stocks, you can still buy and sell, right?
Right. And I feel they just dropped $50 behind Coca-Cola.
No way, no how.
They pay
No.
dividends.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually a great question. So this is what's funny, right? Because I tell people like, I have no money to invest in stocks and stuff, but I try to tell people all the time, that's when you want to start. You want to start learning before you have money. Because when you do get money and you don't know what you're doing, you tend to lose it really fast. So you get 50 grand, you get 100 grand, you get whatever money. It works the same way as if you have a little bit of money. You want to go in slow and you want to choose your entry points. So like one of the things that I want to go through tonight, so if we were to look at Coca-Cola, we could chart it and we could say, okay, if I have 10 grand, I'm going to put it in at this point. And then if I have another 10 grand, I'm going to put it, but you want it to come down and you want to slowly add your money to it.
You don't want to just put in one shot. You want to make a few shots.
Yeah, because if you ever had your heart broken, girlfriend leave you, anything like that, okay, when your money goes, it's the worst. It's worse. However bad you felt, however bad you feel, that felt, oh my gosh, you don't want to lose your money. Put 50 grand in
Well,
stocks.
I feel that way on Friday when they dump the stock jet. Nigga,
Yeah,
they
it
just
hurts.
finish money going.
It hurts. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose your money at all. And I try to prevent that. And trust me, man, I've done it all. I've lost penny stocks. I've lost so much money. It's insane. Until I realized, you know what? You don't need to hit these home runs because the few people who post, oh, I made this money, they never show what they lose. So yeah, they might make 10 grand this month, but they lose 40 grand last month. That don't make any sense. So that's it pretty much. I'm pretty sure some more people wants to come on. Nike. Okay, this is important. This is called a gap, right? And usually when you see a gap, it doesn't all, so nothing in stocks is definite, right? It's usually patterns that reoccur. So it doesn't mean it will always reoccur, but most of the times that it does. So this is a gap, right? You see that space? So most of the times within a pattern, gaps form. So that's a gap, a big space. And if you look back in the past, this is a big Nike gap. So by logic, this gap's supposed to close. And that's what we can trade those a lot of the times. So this is a gap here. It closed. It did not close here, but most likely it's going to go up and close. It's going to go up and close. This is not a perfect example, but usually as you trade, gaps are something you look for. Obviously, the direction of the market is important and all that type of stuff, but I love gaps. I trade gaps all the time. If you draw a line here, and you put it to the top of the gap, I'm going to show it again. If you go to the top of this line here, you will notice, see Nike came down, hit the line, and went back up, which means it closed this gap. You guys saw that? Right. So that's an important thing in trading too. So this right in between here, this gap down, and then the gap closed. Right? As we see here, this is a big gap, but it has not closed. But technically it should close. So when you see Nike is on a good run, you're pretty sure this is a gap it's going to close, and then you probably want to get out. So 79. So Alec, you have stocks, you added more to it. So let's just say you have 10 shares. When it reaches here, you might want to sell 5, right? Because when it reaches the gap, it may come back down. So that's a good way where you could join to take your profit. Nike, great stock. I think you've done pretty well. You buy that dip. But what I want to tell you is that what I do and what I try to tell people, to help people do, is keep a core amount of stocks. So let's just say you had 2 shares of Nike and you would only get rid of 1, and 1 would be your core stock. So like you bought more today, those will be what you would use to trade. And when you make enough money to buy another stock, now you can have 2 shares of Nike. And then when it goes up and down, you keep trading, and then until you buy a 4th and 5th, but you never go under that 4 or 5, right? You just try to keep growing your positions at strategic entry points, if that makes sense. Now, like I said, the same thing, not everything is always the gospel, right? If you see it at an all-time high, sometimes when stocks go up really high, really fast, they're going to have a pullback. And if you wanted to sell all, you can sell all. And then okay, you're going to start back with your core 5 at a lower price point and just take all your money one time. So there are different strategies. Everybody will develop their own strategies, but basically you just going to practice. And as you get better, you're going to develop what works for you better. I can only say what works for me and what I do. As you get more experience, you will develop your own system. Basically, just so you guys know, stocks double, triple, quadruple, and even the ones that are not penny stocks. So you don't have to worry about penny stocks. It's too much risk. If you were to do a penny stock, if you were so inclined, right? Because some people do make a lot of money off of it. It should be a small percentage of the money that you have, and it should only be something that you're willing to lose. And that's it, plain and simple. But why gamble with your hard-earned money when you could learn the skills to make a lot of money consistently? Penny stocks may hit, but it's not something you could do consistently. It's more like luck. So yeah, that's it. Any questions?
Uh, yeah, I have questions. I have a lot of stocks, and most of them is good, but I need to whittle it down. So I need to figure out what the best point. Well, basically, I need to learn candlesticks,
Yeah.
right? So I can predict my exit points, because right now I just go willy nilly,
Candlesticks.
and I hate to exit, and it goes all the way up.
Yeah, well, that's a feeling you have to lose, man, because that happens with stocks all the time, right? It happens with all you can do is plan, right? If you have too many stocks, you have to pick which one are the best ones that you think that you like. And that's another thing. When you spread your money too thin, it can't really do much for you, right? You just have a lot of small stocks, right?
Bangles.
The
What the
what?
Bengals? They all Bengals. They all Bengals. They all good, but they're just small.
Yeah, so you can't do like what I was explaining to Alec, right? Because you don't have that capital because it's all spread out so much. So I try to tell people just take a few stocks and get good at those stocks, right? And the great thing about a group like this is like Grace might be a professional in NVIDIA, and you might be a professional in Amazon, and Alec is killing Nike, right? So the thing is, when Nike's at a really good price, he could come on and say, guys, I'm looking at Nike today. You guys should get in because he's already an expert in that stock, right? When you have too many stocks, there's no way you can learn all of them. There's no way you can get good at a particular stock, right? So over the years, my stocks are like consistent, man. I don't really go outside of. I do, but not like just to trade, but not to make it a full part of my portfolio, right? So I stay with the bigs.
How many stocks you have in your portfolio? How many you core stocks?
I kind of have a lot, but I have like 10. Sometimes I have up to 15, right? And that's a lot for me, right?
That's your starting lineup, 15, and then you have other
My
players that
my
come and go.
yeah. So my core amount of stocks are like 10, right? 10 stocks, and I have like 6 or 7 that's dividend, and then the rest is like the other 3 is like Google or Nvidia or Apple or Amazon. But those stocks I don't keep. I don't. Sometimes I have none. Sometimes I growth stocks. I trade them. I don't really hold them too much of a long term. But that's my strategy, right? That doesn't mean that you can't. If you believe Google is going to go up for a long period of time, you can hold it forever. My brother, he has stocks for 500% return because he just
Yeah,
buy it.
I got you.
Yeah, he just buy it and he left it. He left it and it grows for years. He keeps adding, but it grows over time and 500%, which looks amazing, right? But if he sold and he bought back tomorrow, you wouldn't see that percentage. But because he had it for so long, it grew into that, right? And
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
me and Apple. Me and Apple, I have Apple, I think like 350%. I just waiting for it to break 400%, and now we'll sell 100.
there you go. There you go. So if you look at Apple, like, and that's why I like charting, right? You guys can call any chart. I was hoping this guy came on because I really want to talk about SoFi. There's 2 stocks. I made a mistake and I sold. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Am I sharing my screen, guys?
Nope.
No, no.
Okay. There's 2 stocks I believe going to make me very rich. One is Palantir and the other is SoFi, right? I made a big mistake. I was going to do a limit buy, and I sold by mistake. So I'm out of Palantir completely, which is not good, not where I wanted to be. And I gotta build. I'm happy because as these weeks go on, I'm gonna build back my position in it, and I'm gonna show you guys how I'm doing it. So right now it's too high. It's $34.60 last time I look. So I'm gonna wait for it to pull back, buy a little bit. Following week, if it pulls back, buy a little bit. That type of stuff, right? I don't rush and I don't chase stocks, and that's something people have to learn. And if Palantir fly up to $1,000, then I just got to look for another stock, right?
Well, why didn't you buy back right away then, Darren? Because you sold it by accident, right? Did it move that quick?
Dude, I didn't realize. I
Oh,
set my limit, right? And then order, but obviously I put sell instead of buy. I wanted to buy it back at a lower price, right? And I think it was on sell. So when I execute that limit order, so a limit order, if June, if you wanted to buy, you know what a limit order is?
Yeah.
Right. If you wanted to buy a stock at a cheaper price, you can set that price and it will not buy the stock unless it hits that price or lower. That's what I tried to do. I tried to buy more Palantir at a lower price, but I think instead of buy, it said sell. So when I put that limit order, it automatically triggered. The
yes.
reason why I didn't buy back the one is because when I looked again, I wasn't trading. I just set it and then I left. And then when I came back to look at how it was going, I realized it was gone. Right? I'm like, oh, I want to cry. And yeah, and now it's 465, 460 something, which was a lot. So right now I'm happy. I'm not I made a good amount of money from it. So yeah, technically I'm happy. So now I just have to build back that position. So I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to do that over the weeks that's coming. So you guys can remember this today because next week I'm gonna jump back in because I want to build back my position. I'm also building out a position on Shopify. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna share the screen.
Hey, did you
Oof, yeah, lose money with Shopify, but like maybe that'd be about 5, 6 years ago. I was in Japan and I was losing money, losing money, losing money. And I was in Japan and I seen that, so I said, you know what? Just sell everything I don't want it again. And I should have hold it, but that's why just emotional trade.
Emotional trade. I meant SoFi. I said Shopify, but I meant
Well,
SoFi. But yes.
well, I lose on
What would you say,
Shopify.
Dawn?
uh uh never mind. I don't remember. Lost my
All right.
thought.
Oh, I keep forgetting to share this thing. Let me share it here. Share my screen here. Alec, you good?
Yep, I'm good.
What are you guys seeing?
Yeah, you're good now. We're seeing the screen. What do you have on there? Nike? Oh, you have a bunch.
Okay. You seeing SoFi? SoFi?
Yeah.
Okay, SoFi is such a beautiful stock, even just to trade, right? So I have a support line that, as you can see, it's been hitting, right? Oh, if it comes back down here again, I'm going to buy a lot more. Just because you can see how strong this support line is, right? I can go further.
So
I
not
can
to
go.
cut, we can see the support, but we don't know the like the we can't see if it's like 650 or 750. So maybe if you can call out like the range of your support, that'd be helpful.
Perfect. It's six. It's so I don't just draw lines. I draw zones, right? So my zone is 6.39, 639 to 627. So so I'm going to buy within that
In that zone.
zone there, right? So I'm hoping now. Let's just say it went lower down. I will draw another line, right? Which would be around down here and down here. Now, how I operate is that if it goes down to 4 something, which I don't foresee, that's a big issue. I will have to look. So I am a technical trader, which means I go by the charts mostly, right? Now, I do deal with the fundamentals, which is earnings, that type of stuff, right? The story behind the company. When it goes this low, I have to go to fundamentals and figure out why did it drop this low? What's happening? You know, are they losing sales? Are they getting sued? Whatever the reason is, that's what I look for. But I don't foresee Shopify going down to $4 and some change. But I would very rarely buy here unless I understand totally why it went down that low and I feel confident that it's going to spike. So that's when I have to dig deeper, read as much news clippings as I can, watch as much YouTubes as possible, and whatever, right? But if you was to look at if you was to look at SoFi, just from a trading point of view, there's lots of opportunities to do it, right? There's lots of opportunities. If you were to just stay within this range alone, right? Simple and easy. if you were to use that as a guideline, right? And this is how people trade. So you can do it options, you can do proper trading, whatever. So the skills you're going to learn here, even though it's dividend investing and swing trading is when you have a trade for weeks, maybe even months, right? And going into investing is when you have it for years, months, years, whatever, right? Swing trading, weekly, daily, monthly, you can hold it. And that's how I do swing trading, right? So if I bought it here and I sold, it went up, woohoo, I lose this money, but I made my profit. It comes back down. I do nothing. It hits this line. I buy. It goes back up. It does all this. I do nothing. I take my money here. It goes all the way up. Oh, I'm so sad. Da, 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 da. I missed it. What? It comes back down. Now, depending on you, you can choose to enter a little bit and wait for it to come back down. But usually, if you're trading, you want to wait for it to hit your lines. You want to hit your price points, right? So it came back down. Boom.
Buy.
I would sell again, came back down, buy, I would sell again, and right now it's heading back down to this. So technically, if it comes back down here, you could be a little more aggressive because it's not that it's definitely going to go up, but the chances, because it's done it so many times, the chances of it going up is pretty high. And that's how you make money in the stock market.
Cool.
That makes sense?
Yeah.